What's good, YouTube land? That weird collector here. What? Huh? Something wrong? Something? The camera? Oh, I was just taking inspiration from today's review subject. Age of the Primes, Cybertron, Sideways. Alright, let's actually talk about Sideways. So, Sideways kind of got his start in Armada as one of the heralds of Unicron. Kind of playing both sides, seeing where he fit in, and just kind of overall causing a lot of trouble. And I don't remember if he was in Energon, but apparently he got reformatted in Cybertron into Robot Satan? Yeah, let's go with that. I mean, whatever he is, he certainly looks cool. So, the Walmart line, it's not a brand exclusive anymore, I don't know what you call it, has had two molds, a repaint and one brand new figure. I don't know if there are going to be future waves of more Cybertron figures, if like any future Cybertron figures are just going to be Walmart exclusives, but I had to get my hands on Sideways. So, head sculpt, very demonic. He doesn't even have eyes. His face is made of orange and horns. Which looks very cool. Now, in lore, he was from Planet X, which was apparently destroyed before the show started. Him and Soundwave. And they look kind of similar, actually. Like, they have very similar design ideas with like the lack of face and turning into a very weird plane. Soundwave by far was even weirder. But I just really like the look of him. He's very long and lanky, but he also just looks quite cool. So color scheme wise, he's not black and yellow. No, he's black and orange. A bit of silver. Maybe some gold. And his thigh-high boots and very particularly styled feet look very cool. These things, I guess, can be a cape. The original version of this toy did get remolded into Scourge and the sweeps, I believe, for like a BotCon set, which I can totally see with like Scourge's design with the cape. Yeah, I can see it. I don't know if they'll do anything with this toy, but that might be cool homage to make. Was it this one or the Generations version of Scourge? I think that one became Senator Ratbat. In my mind, this also became Senator Ratbat at some point. I should probably get a Senator Ratbat figure. They did a brand new one of the most recent Scourge as well. They can't stop making Scourge into Senator Ratbat. This guy looks very cool. Articulation-wise, head is on a ball joint. Up and down. Side to side. A little bit of tilt. Not much, but a little bit. Shoulders are universal. You can quite easily see the mushroom pegs right there. And outwards, there's a pin. But, yeah. all the way. Bicep swivel. Elbow bend. It bends both ways for transformation. The main one is the front way. And he has a wrist swivel with like a little handguard poking out. It's not quite Baraka-esque, but it works. So does the waist. And you get not an ab crunch, a bend. This is more intended for transformation because, I'm already transforming him. But you can use it if you want him to look up and kind of shrink into himself. But the hips are also universal. They look like they would be ball joints because the old ones, I'm pretty sure, were ball joints. But they just have that rounded look. But no, it's two swivels. So is the thigh. The knee goes well beyond 90 because it needs to inhale itself for transformation. But also, look at that deadly knee spike. I'd hate to take that to the face. They're so much taller than humans. You wouldn't even... I don't know how. The ankle pivots beyond deep. And you do get a bit of forward and backwards foot action. So, he's overall very poseable. He's kind of fun with his snake toy-esque arms and legs. Kind of just move him around. He does have accessories. So first off, we got a pair of blades, which he can wield in both hands, obviously. And they're his vehicle mode wings, but they have a nice bit of silver on them, some techie detailing. Or you can go with the classic Darth Maul. It's much more Thanos than Darth Maul. It looks more like a massive sword than a sleek lightsaber that I have in the other room. And you have this thing. Well, you can flip out a peg from underneath to plug it into his arm because it is basically a shield. It is another part of his jet mode that comes off and you just put on his arm, which is unfortunate. You might find it interesting that there's an Autobot symbol on that. Well, this guy being I want to say mercenary, so to speak, like he kind of plays both factions just like the Armada. There's a little notch right there that if you flick, he's a Decepticon now. Yeah, he's got a faction switching gimmick, which on the original version would have been spring loaded. Like if you put in the Cyber Key Power, I imagine it would have switched. Speaking of Cyber Keys, we have the Cyber Key for Planet X. Mind you, only one side of it is painted, and even then, not the bottom of it, but it is the Planet Key for Planet X. This is a Cyber Key. Or Galaxy Chip, if you prefer. And I actually have the original Planet X. It's completely translucent orange. And let's do that Cyber Key Power. So if you just plug it in there. Again, these things would be spring loaded, but we don't do that anymore. You open them up, and there's a little back piece behind it that you fold out on both sides. And I imagine he would use this as like a gun somehow, but to me, that looks like an axolotl. I don't know why. It just does, okay? It looks like the whiskers of an axolotl. But you plug it on his arm, and I don't know if it somehow protects him more now, but hey, maybe it's like a crossbow sort of weapon. These energy crossbow, like a animated Rodimus. But I imagine he fires a projectile out of it somehow. It's Transformers. You don't question the lack of logic. Size comparison. Here's Hotshot. Legacy, whatever he was, Hotshot. I'm not going to get every single, like a Override or a Sentinel. No, not Sentinel Prime. Vector Prime. But, yeah. So, let's transform Mr. Sideways. Remove his weapons. We're going to fold his arms down. Fold the back pieces out. Close the feet. I think you want him like that. Open and the sort of canopy after like pushing his legs to the back. There we go. And you want to put his head, you want it like that, and then turned around so it's sitting like that. I believe. Or is that sitting the right way? Yep. You want it that way because it's going to sit flat. But it is not. There we go. Now his head is inside. And it's giving his canopy some little tiny horns, isn't it? Little mandibles. Adorable. Wart, wart, wart. So we're just going to bring his legs back down because we want to bring his arms inside. And you want to have them end up if I can remember correctly, not like that. How do you... There it is. So you want the shoulder folded in like that. And then the arm is going to sit there. So fold that in. The arms are going to peg together. No, they're not. Well, yes, they are, but they don't go like that. They go elbows downwards and then wrists rotated to sort of hide them. But they peg in together and you want it to look like that. Now, we're going to bring this section back up. And you want to bring the legs and make sure... Which way are they? No. How do you... No. I can remember how to do this. I think. Yep, you want it like that. So the foot tabs into the side. You want it to look like that. So basically just rotate and fold. I made it way more complicated than it needs to be. But they also tab in under. There are slots, little, it's not quite, yeah, it's an L shape. Right there. And tab in. And now we just put on the accessories as I drop one. So the wings are going to tab in to a port like there and a little notch right underneath. Like that. Do the other side. And now this big piece, fold the peg back in, and it's going to tab into the two slots right there and the ones in orange. At least theoretically it's going to. But there you have one alien jet mode, made up of a very folded up robot. There's almost nothing actually covering up the bits of robot. Like, you can see it completely underneath. But that's what he looks like. And from the top side, you get the idea and the shape of a plane. You get a canopy here with what appear to be orange eyes and the aforementioned mandibles by the rings. I wonder if this would be something the Covenant would fly. And the wings, you can't really put them on the other way. Like if you were to try, like it wouldn't work like that. But part of me wants the silver to be the other way around, like facing forwards. But I do think it looks cool. He has no access to weapons in this mode. Really. Theoretically, you can pop this off, extend these. Let's switch them back to being Decepticon. And I don't know if they'll actually... Let's give him the full axolotl. Or, no, I think it would be better if we just extend them like that, but... Nope. Weirdly, only one of mine actually clicks. Like that click sound. The other side doesn't do that. Not a deal breaker, it's just kind of odd. But we come to, so far, what is the biggest critique of this figure? The way this connects onto him. Now, at the moment, it's actually being nice and staying on. But over the week or so I've had this figure, I have noticed this thing really is hit or miss whether it actually wants to stay on or not. And it's not a deal breaker. Like, I've heard other people have the same issue, and it's now actually, like, nope. It does come off with little to no effort. And I think it's more the orange tab that is less functional than the two gray one. I think it's the orange tab that's a little less functional than the two black ones up front. I like this space plane. It looks weird, but in a cool way. It's like, how are you going to tell him that that isn't what that looks like? Like, maybe on his planet, a lot of jets look like that. So, yeah. This guy is very cool. If you like the look of him, I recommend him. If you're an old school Cybertron fan and want to add to your Decepticons and you don't have the original or one of the other versions of it, a new version works perfectly fine. It does everything it needs to as solidly as it can. I don't have anything nearby that would look good in comparison. Here's Hotshot again. And yes, I could see this as a Batwing. Senator Ratbat, but no, like, I could see this as maybe like a bat plane. Like, it definitely looks like a vehicle I could see Batman flying. So that's cool. Could we turn it into like a crossovers Batman or something? Turns into the Batwing? A third-party company has done that. Out of a figure that was originally Senator Ratbat. Jesus, we just keep coming full circle to Senator Ratbat. But he's cool. He's evil. He's probably brooding on a rooftop somewhere. He's pretty awesome. I recommend him. Go get one. And until next time, I'm Justice. I am the Knight. I am sideways again. Bye.